Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir. Benedict, sir. Good evening.
Hello, start ചെയ്യാം.
Okay, sir. Good evening, one and all. Respected Principal Dr. K.Y. Bandik, sir, our research coordinator, Dr. Bindu, ma'am, our most invited guest, Dr. Mini K.S., ma'am, dear research supervisors, teachers, students, and dear scholars. A warm, hearty welcome to yet another episode of Insight in Depth. Today's session is something on an innovative pedagogy. Today's topic is on pedagogical standpoint with respect to formal and non-formal education. Let us have a bright start with a prayer. Let me invite Miss Tara for the prayer song. Tara, please.
Am I audible, Sapna?
Yes, Tara, please.
Is my screen visible?
Yes. Tara, the audio is not working, I think.
Pardon, Sapna, did you say anything?
We cannot hear. The audio is not working. Your audio is mute. It's not heard.
Is it now? Sapna, over to you.
Thank you, Tara. Now let's begin our session with the welcome address. I invite our research scholar, Miss Deepa, for the welcome address. Miss Deepa, please.
Thank you, Sapna. Good evening, one and all. Respected Principal Sir, Dr. Mini Ma'am, Dr. Bindu Ma'am, research guides and dear research scholars. It's my delight to welcome each one of you to this great occasion on behalf of Martyrs Training College Research Team. Let me first of all thank Almighty for this opportunity. At the very outset, let me welcome our principal, Dr. K.Y. Bendik sir, who is the backbone of our institution. The initiative and the inspiration given by the respected sir is what keep us going. Welcome you, sir, on behalf of everyone present here. Now, I would like to welcome today's resource person, Dr. Mini Ma'am, for eliciting the mind-blowing talk on the topic pedagogical standpoint with respect to formal and non-formal education. Welcome you, ma'am, on behalf of everyone present here. Now let me welcome our research coordinator, Dr. Bindu ma'am, who is our guide and motivator. And also I would like to welcome all research guides, research scholars, M.Ed and B.Ed students to the program. Thank you all.
Thank you, Deepa. Participants, please have a note on the following points. Kindly mute your audio and video unless asked by the resource person. However, you can post your queries in the chat box in person during the deliberation session. Today's topic is Pedagogical Standpoint with respect to formal and non-formal education by Dr. Mini K.S. Ma'am. To give us a short account about Mini Ma'am in detail, I call upon our research scholar, Ms. Sheila. Sheila Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Sapna. Shall I share my screen, Sapna?
Yes, please.
Good evening, one and all. I proudly introduce our resource person for the day, Dr. Mini K.S., Vice Principal and HOD of M.Ed Department, Fatima Memorial Training College, Kollam. She is a brilliant academician with MA History, M.Ed, SLET, and PhD in Education. She has long 25 years of teaching experience. She holds positions as Vice Principal, HOD of M.Ed Department, NAC Coordinator, Newsletter Coordinator, and Union Advisor at Fatima Memorial Training College, Kollam. She also holds positions as Interview Board Member for the selection of teachers in Chinmaya Educational, Cultural and Charitable Trust, Practical Examination Board Member, University of Kerala, Additional Examiner, University of Kerala, Life Member of Council for Teacher Education, Member of Kerala University Social Science Teacher Education Council, Resource Person, Curriculum Designer or Setter, Evaluation Scheme Setter, and M.Ed Evaluation Board Member. She has published 13 articles and published a book. She also presented 42 papers and attended 93 seminars and workshops in regional, state, national, and international levels. A project presented in refresher course conducted by UGC Academic Staff College, Karivattam. She had guided more than 50 M.Ed students and honored by NCT SRC Chairman as Teacher Education category on December 14, 2022. Respected Dr. Mini Ma'am also have a wonderful achievements in art and culture. Winner of his programs and Maraval Sangeetham Music Fest conducted by Maraval Sangeetham. She was an active member of flood relief campaign also. We are glad to have such an excellent and wonderful person to give today's speech at our Insight In-Depth Talk series. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Ms. Sheila. Now, without much ado, let me move on to call upon our resource person, Dr. Mini Ma'am. for today's insightful session. Ma'am, the platform is yours.
Okay,
Mini
thank
ma'am,
you,
please.
thank you, Sapna, for your nice welcome. And good evening to you all. Most respected principal of Matthew Training College, Dr. K.V. Benedict Sir, respected research coordinator, Dr. Bindu Teacher, dear teachers, research scholars, beloved principal of FMTC, Dr. Anita N., dear FMTC family members, colleagues, dear students, and all dignitaries assembled here. It is my proud privilege to be a part of the 83rd Inside In-Depth Talk series. The research wing is organizing as much as valuable qualitative programs still from its inception. I congratulate the wholesome efforts of the research wing under the patronage of Benedict Sir. When I joined to do my research, Sir was going to submit his thesis titled Non-Formal Models in Chemistry Education. Personally, I know very much Sir. He is an excellent academician, efficient administrator, vibrant coordinator, as well as a nice human being. Before presenting the topic, I'd like to bow my head in front of the great Guru, Professor Dr. Vedamani Manuel, and my academic Guru, come mom, Professor Dr. Asha JV. Sincere thanks to my former student, Mrs. Tara, for inviting me in this prestigious and precious in-depth talk series session. Before presenting the topic, I'd like to share the reason for selecting the topic of discussion today. It is a necessity historically and culturally that our children should know our cultural heritage and it must be transmitted to the succeeding generations. History of education in Kerala has been analyzed by most scholars from the perspectives of a few institutions like Kudipallikudam, Kalari, Shalai, etc. Later studies also tend to repeat this limited repertoire, though Manuel has tried to give a fresh outlook at the problem by using ancient and medieval Tamil sources which apply to Kerala as well as present Tamil Nadu. Empirical studies based on relics, remains, and folklore of Kerala have not been done substantially except for a few articles by Manuel himself. Hence, a new set of sources were brought into this study to complement Manuel's analysis from the Tamil sources. The highest intellectual endeavors were possible for all castes. At least as an ideal, education was open on an egalitarian democratic basis. This could be given to social and education phenomena in Kerala, analyzing a wide spectrum of sources and from broader perspective instead of limit instead of limiting of its religious sources in Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit. Worthwhile contributions can be made in the history of education in Kerala. Keeping in mind IKS, Indian Knowledge System, the main characteristic features are locally based, grounded in a particular culture and geography. The oral tradition is strong in Indian knowledge system. Most of the knowledge being passed down orally and through practical application to promote interdisciplinary research on all aspects of Indian knowledge system, preserve and disseminate Indian knowledge system for future and research and societal applications. India has its own rich cultural heritage. All these things brought me to carry out a study of this type titled Pedagogical Standpoint with respect to formal and non-formal education. Now let me move on the presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Pedagogical standpoint with respect to formal and non-formal education. We all know what is pedagogy. Pedagogy, by the term itself, means what? The science of teaching. In the most general sense, pedagogy is all the ways that instructors and students work with the course content. The fundamental learning goal for students is to be able to do something meaningful with the course content. We sometimes find that novice instructors conflate course content with pedagogy. This often results in teaching as talking, where the presentation of content by the instructor is confused with the learning of content by the students. Think of your course. Think of your course content as clay and pedagogy as the ways you ask students to make something meaningful from that clay. And pedagogy means something, we have to try to make out something meaningful, utilize uh, effective learning situations to promote something meaningful. Then, pedagogy is the combination of teaching methods, what instructors do, learning activities, what instructors ask their students to do, and learning assessments, the assignments, projects, or tasks that measure student learning. In general, you can diversify your pedagogy by learning about active learning, peer learning, team based learning, experiential learning, problem based learning, and case based learning, among others. There is extensive evidence based pedagogical literature and practical guides readily available for these methods that use these and other teaching methods. Then, what is pedagogical standpoint? To make learning context easy and interesting, some segments are presented here with respect to formal and non formal education practices to identify distinct learning situations that suit to instruction, learning, activities, and assessment in total, social, cultural, and still have educational significance. The purpose is to carry over of the past traditions with the modern traditions and thoughts. Then formal education. Formal education refers to formally institutionalized forms of education provided in the earlier equivalents of schools, example Pallikudam, Shalai. Then formal education is defined as any training or education that is conventional, given in an orderly, logical, planned, and systematic manner. Thus, formal education is said to end with the school attendance. In a derogatory sense, any educational program that is confined to the experience of the students within the classroom itself, failing to make use of the students' incidental and varied experiences outside the classroom. Non-formal education. Then any organized educational activity outside the formal system, whether operating separately or as an important feature of some broad activity that is intended to serve some identifiable learning clientele and learning objectives. The aspects of rich cultural and social life, which still have great educational significance, has been considered as non-formal education in the present study. This importance is given to folk songs, proverbs, riddles, and travels. And sources for making this study, sources which were used this remains and oral or written testimony. Original sources, original written sources from Malayalam literature and collections directly from folklore, especially from M.V. Vishnu Nambudiri, Chumar Chundan, Premnath Vettiyar, Kilimanur Vishwambaran, then Shivashankara Pillai, and Trivikraman Thambi. Their literatures were selected for making the study a profound system followed in education. As in the present system, initiation to learning was education was done before the age of 7. There followed different customs for boys and girls, and the content taught also differ in every respect. The following poems clarify the initiation, the institution of school, the teacher, and the method of teaching learning. Here, the important focus is given to some of the formal methods, such as formal methods or approaches of learning, such as initiation ceremony, then institution of learning, the teacher, and the method of teaching and learning are given. Then first one, initiation to learning with respect to formal system of education prevailed in ancient and medieval times. And here, initiation to learning, the main source is taken from Nadan Partugal, publication in Kerala University. The instance is ഏഴാം വയതരത്തിൽ എഴുത്തു വിദ്യകളും കറ്റു കറ്റുതേ കവിതശാസ്ത്രം കണക്ക് വിദ്യകളും കറ്റു കറ്റു ജ്യോത്സ്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം കേവലം പഠിച്ചുകൊണ്ടാൽ ഉറ്റുട നിറയും വണ്ണം ഓമലും വളർന്ന ശേഷം. This is the source taken from Nadan Partugal, publication in Kerala University 1993, and the gist of the lines is that a girl child, she was initiated to writing at the age of 7. Writing essay, poetry, science, arithmetic, and astrology were also studied by her. Thus, she grew to become a master on all those learned. Very good citation related to initiation to learning. Then, institution of learning. Here is the source taken from Tiruvadira Kali. Kaligal of പഴയ പാട്ടുകൾ ഫ്രം വിഷ്ണു നമ്പൂതിരി. പുസ്തക കെട്ടോല തോണിയുമാക്കി പൊന്നെഴുത്താണി തുഴയുമാക്കി ഒന്ന് തുഴഞ്ഞു കരയിളകി രണ്ട് തുഴഞ്ഞു നടുക്കടവിൽ മൂന്ന് തുഴഞ്ഞു കരയ്ക്കടുത്തു. Very good example for trial and error learning. Here, the bundles of written palm leaves made the boat. The writing rod became the oar. With the first act of rowing, the boat moved from the coast. With the second, the boat reached the middle of the sea. With the third rowing, it reached the other coast. Here also our students, most of the times we are implementing the principle trial and error learning. Very good example for institution of learning with respect to ancient and modern times. Then content taught. Here the sources is taken from Vettiyar Premnatha and his writing Nadan Paattu under Bhadrakali Paattu. വിദ്യയെല്ലാം പഠിച്ചേ ഞാനും അംഗമെല്ലാം പഠിച്ചേ ഞാനും 18 മുറ പഠിച്ചേ കയ്യ അടവുകളും ഒഴിവുകളും പഠിച്ചു ഞാനേ. I have learned all the skills too. I have learned all the warfare too. I have learned the 18 steps with tactics and withdrawals. Then, regarding the concept teacher, here the source is taken from Kanner Paatugal from Vishnu Nambudiri. Vishnu Nambudiri's Kanner Paatugal. That is the source extracted for presenting the concept teacher. ആദിയിലെ ഗുരുവേദെന്നറിവിൻ അക്ഷരം 51 പൂതികളഞ്ചിൻ പൊരുളറിയേണം ഭുവനവും അടയപ്പെടുമെന്നറിവിൻ വേദിയരോട് വേറായുക നൽകൂ വൈങ്കതിരോനെ വണങ്ങുക നിത്യം ഇല്ലമിണങ്ങി വിരുദ്ധവുമാക ഇച്ഛ പിഴയ്ക്കല്ല ഗുരുവോടും. Meaning, know who the supreme master is. Learn all the 51 letters. In Malayalam, we have totally 51 letters. Then understand the truth of the 5 sense organs. We know 5 sense organs. Then know that this world will also come to an end. Respect those who have gained knowledge of the truth. Make obeisance to the sun. Never disrespect the master of learning. Meaningful knowledge is provided with respect to teacher. Then another context, ഗുരുനാഥന്മാര് ശിവമണ്ഡലത്തിലെ എഴുന്നള്ളുമ്പോൾ ഒരു മൊഴിയാലെ ഒരു മൊഴി കേൾക്കുമാറാട്ടെ കരിവര മുഖൻ ഗണപതി എന്നിൽ തുണയ്ക്കുക വേണം ജിഹ്വാവാണി സരസ്വതി എന്റെ നാവിൽ വിളങ്ങുക വേണം. When my teachers visit my brain, let a speech emerge by the touch of another speech. I pray to Lord Ganapati to help me in this respect. I pray to Saraswati, the goddess of learning, to shine on my tongue. Then methodology of learning. This is taken from Kunjan Nambyar, തുള്ളൽ പാട്ടുകൾ ത്രിപുരദഗനം. ഗദ്യ പദ്യമുരയ്ക്കുകയും പല വിദ്യ കണ്ടു രസിക്കുകയും നല്ല പാട്ടുകൾ അങ്ങ് പാടി ഒടുക്കമങ്ങ് പിഴയ്ക്കുകയും പകിട പലതരമാടിയും പല പ്രകട രസമിട കൂടിയും രസിക ജനമിട കൂടിയും മൃദുഹസിത പുതുമലർ ചൂടിയും ഇത്തരം പല ഘോഷഭീഷണ ഭൂഷണ ബഹുഭാഷണം ചിത്തമോഹനമാം പുരത്രയമത്ര തീർത്തുമയാസുരൻ. The meaning underlying the lines, he involved in reciting some poems and uttering some prose. He enjoyed seeing various skills displayed there. He sang melodious songs but erred at finishing. He played different types of pagida. His face showed expressions of different feelings. Many of his him and he pleased them by smiling at them, beautifully describing the various emotional feelings and place with respect to methodology of learning. Then another more instance, this is also from Bhagavati Amma Devam from Pinidirku Paatugal of Kilimanur Vishwambaran. Kilimanur Vishwambaran from his Pinidirku Paatugal. This is the context. That is here the letters Kaika Gaikanga, Chaicha Jaichanya, Daita Daitana, Taita Daitana is presented beautifully in a play manner. കരിമ്പ് കൂവള മടുമ്പു വേപ്പടു കായ്ക്ക ഗായിക്കങ്ങ കുറുമ്പ് കുമ്പിളു മരയാലിൻതൊലി ചായ്ച്ച് ജായിച്ച് ഞാൻ ഇരുമ്പ് തട്ടാതെടുത്ത് വെന്തിതു ഡായിട്ട ഡായിട്ടണ ഞരമ്പ് കോച്ചിന് സേവ കഴിക്കുക തായ്ത്ത ദായ്ത്തന. Then another very good example to teach 35 letters. 35 letters of Malayalam, consonant sounds. That is, this is taken from Kunjan Nambyar's Tullal poems, Tripura Dahanam. From that context, it is taken. That is, Kamala Lojana Jehare, Kalavinashana Jehare, Geruda Vagana Jehare, Ghana Manohara Jehare, Nganyana Lipimaya Jehare, Chalita Kundala Jehare, Chalita Ripukala Jehare, Jalada. Likewise, D, A, B, Ya, Kaika Gaikanga, Chaich Jaichanya, Daita Daitana, Taita Daitana, Paipa Baipa Ma, Ya, Ra, La, Va, Sha, Sha, Sa, Ha, La, don't depicted Ra and Ra. Instead, he used Cha. Beautifully arranged all these alphabets in an order, in a playful manner. In this context, I like to say one thing. That is like Sanskrit, Malayalam has 5 varieties of each consonants produced by different positions of the articulating organs. That is tongue, teeth, and lips. The gutturals are produced at the back of the tongue. There are 5 forms: ka, ika, ga, ika, nga. Then the cerebrals are produced at the roof of the mouth as dha, ita, na. Then the palatals are produced by tongue touching hard plate, cha, icha, ja, icha, nya. Then the dentals are produced by the tongue touching the teeth, ta, ita, da, ita, na. Then the bilabials are produced by both the lips coming together, pa, ipa, bha, ipa, ma. These are learned by children laboriously by rote memory. The modern Kerala curriculum does not encourage it. This is followed by consonants produced by fricative or semi-fricative methods, ya, ra, la, va, cha. Kunjan Nambyar teaches them in a playful manner. He composed 35 lines, each starting with one of these letters in the order. That is, Kaika Gaikanga, Chaich Jaichanya, Daita Daitana, Tait Daitana, Paipa Baipama, Yara Lava, Shasha Sahala, Iksha. Likewise, we have to help our children to explore indigenous knowledge or indigenous literature from their own studies with respect to mother tongue, whether it is Assamese, Gujarati, or Punjabi, Tamil, Telugu, or Malayalam. For teaching any content or for teaching any subject, we can identify these types of situations from our own literature. Then method of questioning. This is the source taken. These sources are taken from Angusham in Kutiotam, Bhagavati Amma Devam, Kilimanu Vishwambaran in his Penidirthum Patugal. It is ചോദ്യം വളരെ ചോദിച്ചെന്നൊരു കീർത്തികൾ മാത്രം മതിയോ? ആർക്കും രസകരമല്ലാതുള്ളൊരു ചോദ്യം അതെന്തിന് വെറുതെ? ആകാശത്തിന് തൂങ്ങവിടെന്നും മറ്റുമതാണോ ചോദ്യം? ചോദ്യം ന്യായമതാണെങ്കിൽ പറ, വിവരം കേൾക്കട്ടെ. തത്തക തരികിട താ തരികിട തകതിത്തൈ തികിത്തൈ. Beautifully in a indigenous form of literature and colloquially presented the content. Here, is it enough to have a fame of asking many questions? Unless a question stimulates interest in anybody, it is useless and meaningless. The question about the pillars of sky is such a one. If the question is logical and rational, let it come out. There. Now, up to this, we are presenting uh, formal methods of teaching, learning, method of questioning, way of teaching, content, teacher, etc. Now, I pass on to non-formal approaches with respect to teaching methods, content, social education, cultural education, etc. Social form of or a way of life or life experience or life related education, life related skills, etc. Now we pass on to non formal approaches. Non formal approaches, as used in the study, are characterized by creativity, flexibility, absence of formality, integration with life, absence of subordination, superordination stance, openness in dialogue, etc. This period was rather the dark age of the education history of the state, as the marginalized socio-economic sections of the society were ignored from the arena of literacy and education. However, the non-formal means were very active and provided sustainable education to them. This idea is very well depicted in the following song exhorting neighborhood ladies to join for bathing. The items of bathing like thali, a herbal form of modern bathing soap, vermilion, herbal beauty cream, chotakuri, kajal, mashikuduka for the beauty of eyes, and finally the floral garland for decorating hair are described in the poem. The lines are taken from വിഷ്ണു നമ്പൂതിരീസ് ചടങ്ങുകളെ കുറിച്ചുള്ള പാട്ടുകൾ ഫ്രം പാർട്ട് തിരുവാതിരക്കളി പാട്ടുകൾ എം വി വിഷ്ണു നമ്പൂതിരി. ദെൻ ബ്രാഹ്മണിയെ കുളിക്കാൻ പാടോ? മറുതാളി ഞാൻ തരുവൻ. ശൂദ്ര സ്ത്രീയെ കുളിക്കാൻ പാടോ? ചൊട്ടക്കുറി ഞാൻ തരുവൻ. ഓടന്മാരെ കുളിക്കാൻ പാടോ? മഷിക്കുടുക്ക ഞാൻ തരുവൻ. വാരസ്യരെ കുളിക്കാൻ പാടോ? പൂവും നാരും ഞാൻ തരുവൻ. It depicts the egalitarian nature of those times. The poem thus sung for passing the information regarding the naturally available herbals and other materials that are used in olden days for protecting health and beauty of women. In fact, these poems served as advertisements that transmitted through generations the commonly used natural products. Another aspect depicted by the poem is the egalitarian culture of that time. Mainly, all these get transmitted through a sort of community schooling when the society performed the jobs together. Tolerance, oneness, caring, and cooperation are also depicted in these poems. All are equal. No such caste or creed existed in those times. Even though caste system existed, in this context, all are mutually integrated to each other to do the bathing ceremony. Then, it is not clear who wrote the lyrics depicting the old branches of knowledge. They were the collection of knowledge that provided the basis for family traditions and life skills. A few traditional songs which passed over to the generations the knowledge and skills acquired by the ancestors. The essence of these songs is that they provided life-oriented education and practical wisdom to the younger generation and made them prepare for self-made life. Very good knowledge for our modern younger generation for making their life self-made. Then regarding non-formal approaches with respect to education is mainly for pregnancy and childbirth. The knowledge is shared by pregnancy and childbirth. This is taken from Vishnu Nambudiri's Pazhaya Paattukal from Thiruvathirakkal Paattukal. It also explains the stages of conceiving, delivery, etc. of Parvati Devi, wife of Lord Shiva, in a descriptive way. The lines are ഗർഭമങ്ങു തികഞ്ഞു നല്ലൊരു ബാലനെ പ്രസവിച്ചുടൻ ഗജമുഖവും വളർച്ചെവിയും വലിയ കുടവയറുടയവൻ ബാലനായ ഗജമുഖന് ഒരു നാമധേയവുമാതരാൽ പനസവും നല്ല കരിമ്പതും നൽ ഇളനീര് ചുട്ട കിഴങ്ങുകൾ നാളികേരവും നല്ല പഴങ്ങളും നാവിനു രസമേറിയ കൽക്കണ്ടം പാദപങ്കജമാദരേണ നമിച്ചിടുന്നു ഗണേശനെ. ദിസ് ഈസ് ശാസ്താവിന്റെ ജനനം ഫ്രം പിണിതീർക്കും പാട്ടുകൾ, Kilimanur Vishwambar. This also beautifully described the birth of Lord Ganesha. Then next is cradle songs or lullaby. Non-formal education, with respect to non-formal education. Nowadays also we are most familiar with this lullaby. Different lullaby songs are singing by our younger mothers even itself. The lullaby is an inevitable part of children upbringing. This has so much influence and concern with the mother's affection. There are too much of lullabies which have close rhythmic interaction towards both of them, the mother and the child. Someone is that from Pinitirkum Particle of Kilimanur Vishwambaran under part Udukkukutti Paattu, that is Shastavinte Jananam. Parvati herself sang a song for little Shasta, that is Lord Ayyappa. Then ഓമന പാട്ടുപാടി രാരീരം രാരീരം രാരിരാരോ ഇങ്ങനെ പൊന്മകനെന്നുറങ്ങാരീരം രാരിരാരോ രാരീരം രാരിരാരോ എൻ്റെ പൊന്മകനെന്നുറങ്ങ് ഈ വിധം പാട്ടുപാടി മഹേശ്വരി പൈതലെ നേരിറക്കി. The way of treating the child to going on into sleep. Even in our Kerala, we are more familiar with the song Omana Tingal Kidavo. ഓമന തിങ്കൾ കിടാവോ നല്ല ഓമള താമരപ്പൂവോ. Usually we used to sing this lullaby for making our children sleep. Then lullaby. Next is not visible. Sorry. Here, the Puranas. From the Puranas, we get a complete source of examples for complete education, the great psychological principles that music can stimulate brain, both the mother and the child. That is also explained in this context. The childbirth and its related festivities. Childbirth and its related festivities. When a child is born, usually ladies and all family members celebrate a childbirth at its happiest mode. That is spiritual commitment. That is here one source is given. That is Vannanim Kendron Patam by Vishnu Nambudiri. The source is taken from Vannanim Kendron Patam by from Vishnu Nambudiri's contribution. That is spiritual commitment. That is അതിനുള്ളൊരു നേർച്ച പലരും നേർന്നു. അവര് പെരും തൃക്കോവിലപ്പനൊരു ആന ഇരുത്തണം, കാഞ്ഞങ്ങാട്ടപ്പനൊരു ക്ഷീരധാരയും, തൃച്ചംബരത്തപ്പനൊരു വലിയ പായസം. Very good. Something more spiritual. That is for childbirth, they made several offerings to God, such as elephant, milk, and payasam. Second particle clearly depicts the happiness and festivities related with the childbirth. Several sources are gained from second particle. Abundant sources are there, but due to time span, not presenting all those things. Then here it is another source. This is from തെക്കൻ പാട്ടുകൾ ചില അടിസ്ഥാന ചിന്തകൾ by ത്രിവിക്രമൻ തമ്പി. And here it is another source, that is തെക്കൻ പാട്ടുകൾ ചില അടിസ്ഥാന ചിന്തകൾ from ത്രിവിക്രമൻ തമ്പി is extracted. The quoting is അൻഡു തിരുവയറു വിമ്മി ആൺ പിള്ള താൻ പുറക്ക പിന്നെ ഒരു പെൺ പുറക്ക പൈന്തൊടിമാർകൾ കുരവൈ ഇട. Let a baby come from your belly first, then let a baby girl come out of it next. When the child is born, let all the pretty young women pullulate to mark the mood of happiness and amusement. Even now, most of the parents or most of the members prefer what? Boy child. Most predominance goes to boy child rather than girl child. That is also depicted in this poem. And by usually when a child is born, women, ladies or ladies, ululate to mark the mood of happiness and amusement. That is in Malayalam we are familiar with the kureva idal. Let me try in one accent. That is let me try kureva idal. I am not perfect. What we have to do is that our modern generation or our modern young children.
Let the participants repeat it after you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let the participants may also try for the Kuraveda on.
Yeah, please anybody try. I also want to know. Please anybody want to try? I am very interested to hear it. I am not perfect, but I attempted. Sir, what do you say? I don't know. Let me follow.
In some of the Eastern cultures, this Kuraveda is equivalent to the Kuraveda. There is a particular kind of ritual during marriage also, Syrian Christian marriage.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This
Not only in the childbirth time or auspicious occasions, they may repeat the same thing,
Yes.
especially the women folk.
Yeah. Most of the auspicious situations, this Kuravadal is most commonly in or for the auspicious functions of any nature, especially for spiritual or in marriage session, childbirth, housewarming, like some of the auspicious sessions, mostly women folk used to do ululate, Kuravadal. Okay, then now I pass on to next session. That is this is an extract taken from തെക്കൻ പാട്ടുകൾ ചില അടിസ്ഥാന ചിന്തകൾ by ത്രിവിക്രമൻ തമ്പി. ആദി ജീവൻ മകനോ ആയർ മരുമകനോ ചോദിക്ക വந்தവനോ തൂയ ഗണപതിയോ തേനാന കണ്ണോ തെവിട്ടാതെ തെള്ളമുതോ പാലൂറും വായുടയ പാലകനോ പൈങ്കിളിയോ. Most of our our Malayalam education history, to construct modern or education history of Kerala, mostly we rely on what Tamil sources, especially Sangam literature. Likewise, here also Tamil resemblance is there. Adi Chivan Magano, Ayan Marimagano, Chodikya Vandavano. Tamil influence is there. Here the lullaby describing the bab in an aesthetic extravaganza using exquisite metaphors. Using exquisite metaphors, the ceremony or the lullaby is beautifully described here. Several contexts related to childbirth and all other auspicious functions are provided in Tamil literature. Even in our folklore, Malayalam folklore, several segments are there. But we have no time to look deep into that. The next, children upbringing and childhood education. Dr. Vishnu Nambudiri describes the early childhood bearing in his work, Vandanim Kendron Patam, depicts clearly the developmental stage of a child, especially in the infantile stage. The context is that by the 27th day of its birth, A holy thread must be tied through his waist and smear eye ink on eyes, giving milk and child is to be lie on the cradle. Up to 5 months only milk should be provided. Up to 5 months. Then and in the age of 7, the child is made to wear earring. This is beautifully described in the coming poem. ഇരുപത്തേഴാം തൻ നാളിൽ 27ാം തൻ നാളില് ചരട് കെട്ടി കണ്ണെഴുതി പാൽ പകരേണം. തൊട്ടിൽ പൊലിക്കണം പൊൻകുഞ്ഞിനെയും. 5 മാസോളം പാല് കുടിച്ച് മെയ് വളരുന്നു. 7 ആണ്ടിൽ തൃക്കാത് കുത്തി ഓലയിട്ട് കാതും കുലുകുലുന്ന് കുലുക്കിക്കൊണ്ട്. Beautiful description of a child and his stages of growth of developmental stage. It's beautifully described in these lines. Then, ഇനി കൊണ്ടുവരിക കുട്ടീനെ കുളിപ്പിക്കാൻ കുണ്ടുരുളിയിൽ കാഞ്ഞ വെള്ളം. ഇനി കൊണ്ടുവരിക കുട്ടിയെ തോർത്താൻ വീരകാളി. പൊൻകുട്ടീനെ പൊൻ പോലെ ലൈക്ക് ഗോൾഡ് പൊൻ പോലെ കുളിച്ചൊപ്പിച്ചു. കടുകയുടനെ അകത്തേക്ക് കരകേറി അവള്. ബ്യൂട്ടിഫുൾ description of children upbringing. There is warmed up water in the bronze vessel. Bronze vessel is also for our good health. That is why bronze vessel is used. Most of the case in our temple itself, when we go to temple, most of the occasions, the priests, they give us water, purified water from that bronze vessel. It is mainly for our good health. So bring the bag for bathing. There is Veerakali silk towel to dry the bag. Beautiful description regarding to some extent, child is a resemblance of God or God's birth. That's the feeling most of us have even now itself. Child is like the representation of God. Then next, Kalari, an ethnic martial art. This is an extract taken from Bhadrakali Pattu from Premnath Vettiyar in his Nadak Pattugal. Bhadrakali Pattu. Beautiful context. എഴുത്ത് വിദ്യ പഠിച്ചവനെ അയ്യ പങ്കി എന്ന ചെറുക്കനുമേ പയറ്റാശാന്റെ അരികെ ചെന്നേ പയറ്റി വിദ്യ പഠിക്കുന്നുണ്ടേ പൊന്തിത്താളം ചവിട്ടുന്നുണ്ടേ അയ്യ ഓതിരെത്തി വെട്ടിക്കുന്നേ പയറ്റിക്കുന്ന പയറ്റാശാനെ വിദ്യയെല്ലാം പഠിച്ചു തീർത്തേ. He completed his education there. After completing primary education in Kudipallikudam, the student enters into Kalari and Veda Padashala for higher education. The lines clearly depicts the completion of his education, that is higher education. Then, to acquaint 5 tactics or techniques, a child or student need to master 18 adavu or 18 adavu. In Kalari, we have to learn this 18 adavu. However, in later courts, society lost its interest in physical training, martial arts because of the brevity and strength of Martandavarma. Thus, Kalari lost its importance and began to decline. In the age of 7, little girl child got education and learned poem, science, mathematics, astrology, and after getting trained all these, the grown-up girl child is married after to a bridegroom. Thus, unlike Tamils, the Kerala children were given training in military arts. Then, Tekkan Pattugal demonstrates the way of imparting primary education to child. Here is another instance from regarding the learning pattern of younger children. Then, വലിയ തമ്പി മന്നവർക്ക് വായ്ത്ത തിരുവയത് 7 ചെല്ല്, കുഞ്ചു മന്നവർക്ക് പൂണ്ട തിരുവയത് 5 ചെല്ല്, കൊച്ചുമണി തങ്കയർക്ക് തിരുവയത് 3 ചെല്ല്. Tamil influence is there mainly from Tamil sources. Tamil folklore or Tamil sources. ജീവിത ദശകൾ പാട്ടിലൂടെ from Trivikraman Thambi. That is the source taken from ജീവിത ദശകൾ from Trivikraman Thambi. The elder Thambi means a title given awarded by the king, has attained the age of 7. And the younger one at the age of 5, the sister, Kochumani Tanga, who is the youngest of them, is 3 years old. All were given type of education as far as their age is concerned. Then, ഏഴാന തിരുവയതിൽ എഴുത്തോതി വയ്ക്ക വേണ്ടും. The king orders that the initiation of the child into learning be done at its age of 7. At the age of 7, children should be given what? Beginning of initiation of education or initiation ceremony is to be held by the age of 7. ഏഴാന തിരുവേദിൽ എഴുത്തോതി വയ്ക്ക വേണ്ടും. Here also Tamil influence is there. Most of the Kerala historical education sources are from Tamil sources. Then this is also from ജീവിത ദശകൾ പാട്ടിലൂടെ തെക്കൻ പാട്ടുകൾ ചില അടിസ്ഥാന ചിന്തകൾ from 3 വിക്രമൻ തമ്പി. Then riddles plays an important role under these non-formal approaches. Riddles helps to form concepts, strengthen concepts, etc. It arises out of a problem and a hidden answer, statement of hidden content. Even ordinary man possesses the skill of framing problem-based riddles. Even now also we are encouraging our children for framing such riddles. One such example is given by Vishnu Nambudiri. Here, this is for one riddle. It is a clue. First riddle, clue, not paper craft, but blood colored. Neither blossom nor wither any day. Which is the flower? Do you know? Tell me what. Anyone of you listening to this topic, can anybody say what is that? A riddle clue? Answer, anyone know the answer? Once again, one clue for a thing. It is not a paper craft, but blood colored, neither blossom nor wither any day. Which is the flower? Do you know? Tell me what. വിടരില്ല പൊഴിയില്ല പൂവേത് എന്നാണ് ചോദിക്കുന്നത്. കടലാസ് കലയല്ല, രക്തം രക്തം കളർ വരുന്നതാണ്, രക്തമയമാർന്നതാണ്. വിടരില്ല പൊഴിയില്ല പൂവേത്, അറിയാമോ പറയൂ കമലാക്ഷി എന്ന് വേണമെങ്കിൽ പറയാം. വാട്ട് ഇസ് ദാറ്റ്? എനി ക്ലൂ? എനിവൺ നോസ് ദ ആൻസർ? Actually, it is a flower, but not made out of paper. But it doesn't blossom or doesn't wither. But it's a flower. No one knows? Shall I say the answer?
Yes, ma'am.
കടലാസ് പൂവാണ് കേട്ടോ. നമ്മുടെയൊക്കെ വീട്ടിലുള്ള കടലാസ് പൂ, നമ്മുടെ ബോഗൻ വില്ല. നോ, ബോഗൻ വില്ല. The next riddle, equivalent to star, 3-lettered name, starting ka, ending I, middle tell wise man. മലയാളം 3 അക്ഷരം, ആദ്യ അക്ഷരം ക, മധ്യക്ഷരം പറയുന്നില്ല, അവസാന അക്ഷരം എന്താണ്? ഇൽ. എൽ. ഇല്ലാണ്, എല്ലല്ല, ഇൽ. ഇൽ. ക ഡാഷ് ഇൽ. 3-lettered name, equivalent to star.
കനൽ.
എന്തുവാ? കനലല്ല, അല്പം കൂടെ ഒന്ന് കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ഒന്ന് മാറുക. Usually ladies and gents wear this.
Kammal.
Yeah, very good. This is kammal. These are the riddles used in earlier days. That is ancient and modern, ancient and medieval periods. Even now also our children are preparing these types of riddles with respect to context, our subject context. Learning context with respect to our own different subjects. In most of the cases, our own students are preparing this type of riddles. This should be encouraged. Then modes of communication is also prevailed in those times, especially in ancient and modern days. We all know communication is essential form for activity. It is broadly divided into 2 models, encoding, transmitting, and decoding. Thus, we all know the next communication being related to community and commences of experience. Thus, communication emerges from common activity. Here also another listen, that is Kutyota Patakal. Kutyota Patakal mentions the communicative system like comic question answer modes. Here both questions and answers are in song model, not direct question answer method. Kutyota Patakal begins with Stuti, then nearing to play. They used to sing entertainment songs on the basis of question and answer, characterizing Puranic themes. Even now, Kutyota Patakal are associated with some of the Hindu temples, but all in vain now. The first team starts question like this. ആദ്യം പെൺകൊല ചെയ്തത് ആര്? ആട കവർന്നത് ആര്? Here the lines are repeated. A very good, interesting method, that is modes of communication with respect to Kutyota Patakal, question answer method. All questions are asked at a stretch. See, ആദ്യം പെൺകൊല ചെയ്തത് ആര്? ആട കവർന്നത് ആര്? പാത്രം കൃഷ്ണ കേകിയതാര്? പഞ്ചവടിസ്ഥിതനാര്? പാരാവാരം ചാടിയതാര്? ഭാർഗവരാമനുമാര്? Very good citations from Puranic themes, Puranic characters. Based on that, questions are repeated. Then is assigned to answer. Next team starts from replaying the or answer erased from the first team's questions. Then, who committed the first femicide? Answer: Rama committed the first femicide. Tadaka. Rama killed whom? Tadaka. Then, who robbed the women of their robes? Who? Krishna. Lord Krishna, who stole the robes of women. Then, who gave Krishna, that is Panjali, a dish, Akshayapatram? That is, the sun gave Krishna a special dish, Akshayapatram. Then, who resides in Panjavadi? The who resides in Panjavadi?
Sri Ram.
Yeah, Sri Rama. Panjavadi Sthitan, Sri Rama. Who jumped over the ocean? Hanuman jumped over the ocean. Then, who is called Bhargavarama? Bhargavaraman. Vishnu. That is, Lord Vishnu is Bhargavaraman. Okay, very good question answer method. Without any risk, playfully, they are extracting the content. Okay, these are some of the situations with respect to formal and non-formal methods of teaching, content, teacher, leisure time, passing of leisure time, question answer, method of teaching, social education, cultural perspective, and historical segments. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mini Ma'am. You have very beautifully and skillfully told us how cultural elements or that is the literature, different poems, localized poems, which are very much known to us in the local context, how all these riddles, different modes of communication, etc., have they convey much more than what they appear to be. So let us open now. The session is open for deliberation. Participants, you may please involve in for the discussion and you may please clarify your queries. Dear participants, you may please ask the queries, if any.
Sheila ma'am has raised a hand. Sheila ma'am, please. Adira ji. Adira ji has raised a hand, please.
Come on, ask Andrea Ji. You have any doubt regarding the talk which I have dealt?
നോ മാം എനിക്കൊരു ഡൗട്ടും ഇല്ല ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഞങ്ങളുടെ മാമാണ്. പക്ഷെ ഇത്ര അടിപൊളിയായിട്ട് ഡെലിവർ ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ ഭയങ്കര സന്തോഷം തോന്നി. അതൊന്ന് പറയണമെന്ന് തോന്നി. അതുകൊണ്ട് റൈസ് ചെയ്തതാ മാം.
Okay, thank you. You have no doubts at all?
നോ മാം.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
I still remember the fond memories of Dr. N. Velmani Manuel at this moment of your presentation.
Okay, sir. Even I remember him. This is the topics that is formal and non-formal education is most familiar with, sir. And sir, your topic is also non-formal education with respect to chemistry education, and my topic is itself also formal and history of formal and non-formal education. In that times, the influence of formal and non-formal education is far better. But I think, sir, after 1984, no such studies were conducted in Kerala University. Most of the other universities, I don't know. After 1984, no such studies were conducted in Kerala University. It is only by my study. History, with respect to history. Science education, Benedict sir. Then history of education, no one is touched so far. That credit goes to Vedamani sir and my Dr. Asha ma'am. Without her, I won't even completed my work.
Congratulations. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Anyway, we feel Vedamani sir's presence, his invisible presence. Always I feel. Nobody has any doubt.
Bindu, no, we will move to the next part, please.
Okay, sir. Moving on for the conclusion of the session, let me have Ms. Malini to deliver the vote of thanks. Ms. Malini, please.
Are you audible? Hello.
Yes, you are audible, Malini.
Good evening to all. Today, I feel honored and privileged to have been allowed to extend a vote of thanks on this event. First of all, I would like to extend my warm regards and heartfelt gratitude to our resource person, Dr. Vinny K.S., the Vice Principal and Head of the Department of MED, Fatima Memorial Training College, Kollam. It's a very nice presentation, ma'am. We got more valuable information and knowledge about the pedagogical aspects with the formal and non-formal education. What are the importance of pedagogical skills and various pedagogical approaches used in education, different modes of communication used for teaching and learning process. So I says heartiest congratulated to ma'am for gave a wonderful presentation. Now I sincere and heartily thanks to our principal, Dr. Benedict sir, our research coordinator, Dr. Bindu ma'am, all teachers, research scholars, all participants, and my dear friends, for the supported of conducted this program well. Finally, I would like to thank all of you present here for making the time to be with us today and supporting us make this event a grand success. Thank you one and all. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Ms. Malini. Now let us wind up the session with the national anthem. I once again thank you all for joining us today and spending your precious time for this academic endeavor. Tara, please, can you please play the...
Okay, am I audible?
Yes.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Dear participants, the link for the certificate has been posted in the chat box.